Yo, yo, yo. Welcome in, Raider Nation. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of They Follow from Burners. So, real quick, please subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. All right. We've been growing on YouTube and it's exciting. We need a little more, need a little push. So please subscribe. Also, our sponsor, shebangboutique.com. Run over there and grab something for your girl, 20% off if you say you listen to the show. So this week, the Raiders don't have a game. They have a bye, but had a lot of goings on, right? As we all know, the coaches got fired. Three coaches got fired. Luke Getsy, the quarterback coach, Scangarello, and the O-line coach, James Craig. So to replace them, they elevated Scott Turner from the quarterback coach position to the interim OC, and then Joe Philbin has been moved to the interim offensive line coach. What does this mean offensively? We don't know. We don't we don't know. We got to wait and see. Also, they hired Scott Turner's dad, Norv Turner, who's a OG NFL guy, was the offensive coordinator on a couple of those Cowboy teams that was dominant back in the past. He's also been the head coach of the Raiders before. That wasn't that good when he was that didn't turn out well at all when he was the head coach of the Raiders. But for all intents and purposes, Norv is an OG offensive guy, NFL, 72 years old. Lean towards, if I remember correctly, like a big old line, power, running, and then play action off that. Deep, in routes, comebacks, things of that nature, if I remember Norvell's type of style. So will some of those concepts be incorporated within the Luke Getsy system because Scott Turner? We'll see. We'll see, man. So that's what's going on with the coaching. The Raiders, I came across something interesting, man. The Raiders are on a 5-game losing streak, right? As we all know. In those 5 games, and I came across this because AP said this. They have 13 turnovers, man, in 5 games. Yesterday, I heard about a meeting where the players were complaining about the coaches and some like wasting time and lack of discipline, accountability. I don't know what that meant, but what is that? What is that? And then like content creators that's does this for the Raiders, mostly all the people commenting just jumped in on the player's side, and start really kind of just disrespecting AP and his staff after, he just fired 3 guys, man, that he had hired and kind of promised, well, these guys have contracts, so their money is guaranteed, so you don't have to feel sorry for them in that way. But he just had to fire 3 guys, man, that he hired. Then you come in and hear these dudes that's on a 5-game losing streak that's turning the ball over 13 times in 5 games, complaining about the coaches. So one thing I know is 100% certain, man, turnovers is a player's thing. You've all been coached at this point to not be out there throwing picks if you don't see it. All right, now if nobody's open, that's one thing. Nobody's open, man. Throw it away. Don't throw a pick. You guys all know to, carry the ball correctly, high and tight, or whatever you've been taught, however the terminology is that you've been taught, but you know how to take care of the football. And to turn the ball over 13 times in 5 games and then complain about the coaches, man, is some bitch shit to me, man. I'm just being 100. And at what point, this is my question to Raider Nation and everybody that criticized all the coaches. At what point is it the player's fault? Is it, you got to fight 3 coaches, 5, 10? At what point do we start blaming the players for the poor performances, man. Right? So I went to the Steeler game. All right. So you gonna tell me coaching got us 2 fumbles in that game, interception in that game, uh, roughing the passer in that game? Y'all saying that's coaching? You guys don't know this stuff. You know the rules have been changed. You can't hit guys late. You can't land on guys. Right? Everybody knows this. Everybody's been informed of the rules. Right? And the rules aren't new this season. So you haven't been doing that stuff, but you're getting called for the ineligible downfield in the Pittsburgh game was very suspect, extremely suspect. Shouldn't have been called. But I'm saying you guys are doing bonehead stuff, bro. Shooting yourselves in the foot, fumbling the rock, throwing picks, roughing the passer on interceptions, rolling out and guy right in front of you, you throw it to the other guy, you take it back a hundo. But this is the coaches? Come on, man. At what point do we start blaming the players for this? For the poor performances on the Raiders, bro? When do we just start saying calling dudes what they are? Not good. Not that sweet at football. When? That's my question, man. Please, somebody like comment if you guys end up saying this. When are we gonna just start blaming those guys? The guys that's actually out there playing and doing the boo-boo Mickey stuff. Anyway, I came across that's it, man. We come out, we play the Dolphins. Later in the week, catch me and Isaiah on the preview because there's no recap of any game this week or whatever. So we'll preview the game after we see the Dolphins play today. So look for that at some time. So another something interesting, man, that I came across, man, I want to share with you guys, man. It's about the kind of the state of the game, right? Quarterbacking in particular, and that the game is getting a little remedial, a little bit stagnant in the growth of the game, a little bit of regression of the way the game is being played and called and coached and everything. So I'm gonna share this with you guys, a little something from Tom Brady, and this is on the heels of reports that I heard that scouts and agents are telling players in college and high school recruits to stay in college as long as possible now, if you're playing quarterback in particular, because the league is wanting like a 30-game resume coming in. The NFL doesn't have time to develop players anymore because of a lot of reasons, but the CBA is largely a part of it. They don't really get to practice that much. So the development of a QB is going to be minimal throughout a season, the league year, if you would, with OTAs and all that. That's like the only time you get to do that, and that's minimal. You don't have all of the guys that he's really going to be playing with are there and all that stuff. You're trying to develop the quarterback in OTAs, and training camp is shorter. So now the league is like, man, we want a bigger sample size for you quarterbacks coming in, and I support it. I feel them, and it's like it's better for the players because you might come in and because they're gonna put you in. You know how my philosophy, fan, get your ass in there. They're gonna put you in there. So if you haven't played enough ball and seen enough, it's not gonna work out well for you in the league. So let me share this and then we're gonna come back. It's a clip of Tom Brady. Uh, so I support it, man. Even to draft a kid and waste that first year letting them sit, especially if you drafted them high. I'll say, get your tail out there. But, if you want to sit the kid and let him watch, depends on what you got right in front of him. You don't want him to be watching some hot garbage. Let's keep it 1,000. But look, another thing this is gonna do, man, because you heard what he said about college, right? And what I said about college before we played the video. This is gonna help the college coaches with their portal problem, right? maybe at not all the other positions, but the quarterback position in particular, you're going to have to get yourself somewhere and sit down and learn how to play some football and play some foot. It may take 5 years, right, for you to wait your turn and go ahead and start to get to that 25, 30 game resume that the NFL wants, right? So you're not going to have a bunch of transferring around because the coach yelled at me, because the coach got me messed up because I don't start. I was I was put third on the depth chart. How dare them? I'm out of here. That's what Brady was talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was talking about. So that's going to help the coaches and perhaps help college football kind of come back. I'm not saying it went somewhere, but it has been a little bit Mickey since the whole NIL and transfer portal. I'm just keeping it 1,000. So I'm in support of them getting paid and all that. Don't get me wrong, but just the portal thing where kids are hopping all around. You don't know if you're gonna have a kid on the team because you yelled at him this morning. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, he's in the portal. So on the quarterback tip, at least that'll help that, I believe. You'll have some kids, kind of sitting still and learning and playing football so they can build that resume so they can be even considered in the NFL draft. Because from what I've heard, they're going to even stop considering guys that haven't played a lot.
Not happy. Talk about. I love football. That's why, and I love the sport. And if we had the iPhone 15 this year, I don't want to watch the iPhone 9 be re-released. And when I watch it, sometimes I think, wait a minute, we're regressing in the game a little bit because for a number of different reasons, and I could cite them all the way back for the last 15 years, but it could go from ultimately the development of the players is what's the most important in the NFL. If you want football to be good, you're going to want to develop these players to be better every single year. And the reality is we don't have the processes in place for those players to be better year after year. They may maintain, they may be at slightly better, but not at the improvement levels that we were able to make when I was a younger player through our ability to practice more. We had less distractions. There was much more opportunity in the offseason to train. There was more opportunity in training camp to train. There was more opportunity than the regular season to train. We had and not only through pro level, but also in college sports, because whatever gets adopted at the pro level ultimately gets adopted at the college level, and from the college level, it gets adopted to the high school level. And now I look at what could be a little bit dangerous is now there are players transferring from schools when they're not playing, and they're going to different programs, and they're going to different techniques they're learning. They're never advancing in an own individual system. There used to be college programs. Now there are college teams. You're no longer learning a program, you're learning a playbook. And the program is ultimately, like at Michigan, for me, that was a pro-style program. 5 years, I got to learn how to drop back pass, to read defenses, to read coverages, to be coached, to deal with winning games, to deal playing in Columbus, Ohio, in front of 110,000 people. Right. I had to learn from being 7th quarterback on the depth chart to moving up to 3rd to ultimately being a starter. I had to learn all those things in college. That was development. Then I went to New England, and I was developed by Coach Belichick and the offensive staff there. I didn't start my first year. I think it's just a tragedy that we're forcing these rookies to play early. But the reality is the only reason why they are is because we dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. It used to be thought of at a higher level. We used to spend hours and hours in the offseason and training camp trying to be a little bit better than next year. But I think what happens is it discourages the coaches from going to deep levels because they realize the players don't have the opportunity to go to a deep level, so they're just going to teach them where they're at.
How did they get rectified?
Right. Guys like Anthony Richardson that only played like 13 college games before he got to the league. Now, if you get injured or whatever, I understand. There's going to be some exceptions to every rule. But in general, man, I'm in support of have a resume built up from college. So, yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got for this show for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the Raiders will come out looking better. Play Miami next Sunday in Miami. And yeah, that's all I got for you, man. So thanks for tuning in. And like I always say, man, just win, baby. And